Hello friends, today we are going to learn chapter 5 control structures in context with Python of class 7th computer science. So here goes your chapter. You would have already seen that all the computer programs are executed in a sequential manner. What do we mean by sequential manner? It means the programs start at the top and ends at the bottom. So all the lines of the program are executed one after the other in a sequential manner, one after the other. But programs in real life can rarely be executed sequentially. There has to be some sort of branching that occurs in one way or the other. In this chapter also, we are going to study branching of the programs. First, let us look at a real life example. Say, suppose you want to go out to play football with your friends. What would you do if it rains? Will you go out to play? No. So, in such a situation, you use some kind of decision making component that can help you evaluate such situations. Consider another example. You have to determine whether a number is positive or it is negative. The simplest way to determine is to check the number is greater than 0 or less than 0. If it is greater than 0, then the number is positive or else it is negative. Many problems require methods of conditional and repeated processing of statements. Such statements are called control statements. So we are going to learn these control structures in our chapter conditional statements, which have if else, if-elif-else, and nested if. Means there will be one more if or more than one if inside one if conditional statement. Then there are some transfer statements that we will be studying at last. Then this, after conditional, we will study iterative statements. Iterative, as the name suggests, means repetitive. So there are two types of iterative statements: for and while. For is used when the number of iterations, that is the repetitions, is fixed, and when the number of iteration is not fixed, we can use while statement. Then thereafter we will be learning transfer statements, means transferring the control either out of the conditional statement or to completely ending up the queue and going to the next part of the program. So here is one break, continue and pass. Types of control statements. Control flow statements or control structures are used to control the flow of execution of the program. There are three different types of control structures in Python. First is sequential control structure. In the sequential control structure, the statements are executed one after the other linearly in the sequence they are written. Let's see two examples. First example is of calculating area of the triangle, wherein we need two inputs from the user. As the formula of a triangle is half base into altitude, we will accept two values of base and height. Altitude means height. In and convert that input into integer, and then second in the second statement we will accept the value of height, and then on the basis of these two values we will calculate area as half base into height, and we will print the area along with the message the area of the triangle is. So our flow is moving from accepting base, then accepting height, and then calculating the area, and then printing the output, that is area, with the message. So here we simply follow input, process, and output. There is no branching, no conditions to be put or followed. Simply the program is executed as it is written, in the sequence it is written. You can see the output. First it has asked for the value of base, then the value of height, then it was calculated, and then the output was printed along with the message. Here another example is also given for calculating simple interest, principal amount, rate of interest, and the time. These three values are accepted. Then the simple interest is calculated on its formula PRT over 100, and then it is displayed on the screen with the message and the value. So here you can see the output, enter the principal, then rate of interest, then time in year, and then calculation. After calculation, the simple interest was printed as 75 based on these values. In the above programs, the interpreter goes line by line without any possibility of branching. This type of execution is known as sequential execution. Conditional control structures. These are special control structures that execute a set of statements based on the result of a single condition. They are also known as selection control structures. Every condition always results in either true or false value. In Python, there are three types of conditional structures: if, if-else, and if-elif-else. In if, we have only one condition based on which it gives the output. Here we have a single condition, but if it is true, then something will be acted upon, else something else will be done. In if-elif-else, elif is actually a acronym for else if, means first there will be condition in a if, and then we will have several other conditions also written along with elif, and at last when each of them are not true, then the else part will be executed. In iteration looping control structure, we have for loop and while loop. The looping control structures execute a set of statements repeatedly depending on the value of a condition, which is a Boolean expression. Boolean expression means it may be true or false. Each time a statement or block is executed, it is known as an iteration. As soon as the condition becomes false, the control comes out of the loop. In Python, there are two types of loops, for loop and while loop. Now, on the basis of whatever we have done until now, let's check our knowledge with this MCQ question. The dash statement controls the flow of execution of statements. So the answer will be control. The control statement controls the flow of execution of statements. Now let us learn about various conditional structures one by one in a bit detail with examples and their flowchart also. So sequential control structures have been explained earlier. Now we will take up from conditional control structures. These structures cause the interpreter to jump from one part of the program to another part based on some condition. In simple terms, a conditional statement checks the condition and executes the statements accordingly. Let us understand this with the help of a flowchart given alongside. In the given flowchart, a number n is checked whether it is completely divisible by 2 or not. If the result is yes, then a message is displayed stating n is even. Otherwise, the message n is odd is displayed. Python provides three types of conditional structures: if, if-else, if-elif-else. Now the if statement. The if statement consists of a Boolean expression followed by a statement or a block. Boolean expression, either true or false. The keyword if is used to evaluate a condition. The block is executed only if the condition is true. If the condition is false, the statement or the block is ignored. The syntax of if statement will be if and the condition. If this condition is true, then only this statement will be executed, else it will totally ignore it and it will move to the next line of the program. In the syntax above, condition is evaluated as in a Boolean value, either true or false. Statement may consist of single statement or a group of multiple statements into one compound statement or a block. I mean to say, statements may be, it is not necessary that the statement might be only one. It may be that if the condition is true, then we need to write some details. There may be more than one statements also. A block syntactically is a single entity. When the condition of an if statement is true, then all the statements of the block are executed. When the condition is false, then none of them is executed. Note, the colon following the condition is required. Some programming languages require the condition to be enclosed in parentheses, but Python does not. Only if we require that condition, then we feel it necessary, then only we can put a bracket or a parenthesis alongside both the sides of the condition, else it is not required. Colon indicates the end of if condition, and after colon, the statements written below are the part of this if condition. Here is a flowchart. You can see this is the condition. If here we have the if statement, then if it is true, then block 1 is executed. When it is false, then block 2 will be executed or it will go to the next line of the program. In a Python program structure, indentation has a special significance. It is used to define compound statements or blocks. In a Python program, contiguous statements that are indented to the same level are considered as the part of the same block. Now, what is meant by indentation? It is the space left between the text and the beginning of the if. This space is called indentation. Contiguous statements means consecutive statements one after the other. It may have more than one statement after the colon, so they will be called contiguous statements. Let us look at these examples. Program to check if a number is even or odd. So here we have first accepted the number and converted into integer so that we can do some calculation related to it. Now we have accepted the number into num variable. Now we are checking the number by dividing it by 2. If we get 0 on dividing the number by 2, we will print you have entered an even number. If this condition is true, then it will print that you have entered an even number. If this condition is not false, it will do nothing. So after on executing this program, we have run that it has entered, it has the statement enter a number. So we have accepted the number by putting a statement enter a number. The user entered the number 72. Since we get 0 by dividing 72 by 2, it is an even number, so we printed you have entered an even number. Here also password, we have accepted password as input, pwd. The password entered by the user is assigned to pwd variable. If pwd is equal to Vidya, then we print correct password, else we are coming out of this if condition. If-else statement. Now this is the second conditional control structure. If-else consists of two sets of statement. You can see one is if and then next part is else. The block of statements following the if condition is executed only when the condition is true. So if this condition will be true, then these statements will be executed, and if this is false, the else part will be executed. When the condition is false, then the statements or block following the else is executed. See the syntax. If condition, then the statements, means if this is true, these will be executed, and else these statement will be executed. Let us look at the flowchart. We begin the program, then there is a if statement under this condition. If this condition is true, then this body of if will be executed. What is the body of if? After the colon. The statements after the colon is the body of if, and after the colon of else, this is the body of else. So if this condition is true, then the body of if will be executed, and if it is not true, that is it is false, then the body of else will be executed, and then our program will end up. Let's see this example. This is a program to find the greater number between the two. See, there are only two numbers in this program, and any one of them is greater. It is but obvious that if one is not greater, then the other one will be greater. So this is the best example to understand the if-else condition. We have accepted two numbers from the user in A and B. Now we have checked if A is greater than B, we will print the first number is greater because A was the first number. Now if this condition is false, then the else will be executed. That means if the first number is A, if this condition is true, that means A is greater than B, then A is greater. So we are saying the first number A is greater, and if this is not true, we will executing the else part, which says print the second number B is greater. So here we have accepted two values, 76 and 45. First value is 76 and the second value which goes into B is 45. So just looking at it, the first number A is greater. Now let's move to another program of if and else. This is a program to show whether a person is eligible for voting or not. You know very well what is the age required to vote. A candidate should be 18 or above. So age is equal to input enter your age. We have accepted the value of age in the variable age, age. Now if age is less than 18, then you will print you are not eligible to vote yet. And if this condition is false, that means the age is either 18 or above, then we will print you are eligible to vote. We can look at the we have run this program twice. We have put both the values, one value less than 18 and the other value above 18. So first we have put the value which is above 18. We have accepted 54. So it is giving you are eligible to vote. Now we have run the same program again and we entered the age as 12, and now it is giving the message you are not eligible to vote yet. Accordingly, that means we have written our program correct. Now there is a practice time question in the chapter. Write a program to check whether the number given by the user is positive or negative. You know very well when is our number positive, when it is above 0, and when is it negative, when it is less than 0. You know all numbers less than 0 are negative numbers, negative integers, and above 0 are all positive ones. So here the Python program code to check whether the number is positive or negative. Now here we have accepted one integer from the user and assigned this integer to variable num. If num is less than 0, we have put a condition. If the number is less than 0, then it will print the number is negative, and if it is not, means this condition is false, then we will print the number is positive. So here also I have run the program twice, one value above 0 and one value below 0. So first, when in the first time when we executed this program, we have entered 56. It is giving us the message the number is positive. And next time when I entered minus 98, then it is giving message the number is negative. Now we will come to the third conditional control statement, which is if, elif, and else. Here we have more than one conditions and we can specify them after elif. The if, elif, else statements allow a user to check for multiple expressions. Here expression means multiple conditions. You use this statement if you want to add additional conditions. Add additional conditions mean if you want to check value for more than one conditions to satisfy. If the if statement are executed from the top to bottom, if the condition for if is false, it checks the condition of the next elif block and so on. After this elif, we can have as many elif as we can. As soon as one of the if condition evaluate to be true, the statements associated with the if is executed and rest of the statements are ignored. When none of the condition is true, then the else part is executed. See the syntax here carefully. If, then there is a condition given. If this condition is true, then these statement will be executed. If it is not true, it will go to elif. And in this condition, if this condition is true, then it will work upon this. If this is not, then the else part will be executed, and we can give more than one condition after this elif. Just look at the flowchart also. Here first if condition is given, this if is this one if condition. If this is true, the body of if is executed and we will not go to elif and else, and we will end up our condition part and then execute the rest of the program. And if this is false, then we will go to the elif part. If elif is true, then we will execute the body of elif and then we will go to the end. And if this elif is false, then we will go to else part and then just execute those else part statements and then we will come to an end. So here is a program with if, elif, and else conditions. It is a Python program to determine whether the character is in uppercase or lowercase. When is a character or an alphabet in uppercase? When it is between capital A and capital Z. And when it is in lower, it is between small a and small z. So we will keep the same conditions here also. We will accept an alphabet from the user in the variable char. If char, this variable, is greater than or equal to a, and that character is less than or equal to z, small z. See here we have written in bracket. Then we put a colon. Then if this condition is true, this complete is one condition. The character is greater than or equal to a and less than or equal to z. Along with the add and, this is a complete one condition. If this condition is true, we will print you have entered a lowercase character. If this is not true, the counter will move to the elif part. Now we will check the same character with capital A and capital Z. If this condition is true, then it will print you have entered a uppercase character. And if both of these conditions are not true, it will move to the else part, which says please provide a valid input. It may be possible that instead of alphabet we have entered something else. So here I have put both the conditions. I have put two uh, values to check for both the conditions. This was executed twice. First, on first execution we have entered small u, for which it is giving the message you have entered a lowercase. And when we entered H, capital H, it says you have entered a uppercase character. So here is a program with multiple elif statements also. Conditional control structure if, elif and else. Here is a program to count the digits of a number. We have learned in our small classes greater numbers and which one is the smallest number, which is the greatest number, how do we get the greater number or the smallest n digit number. So this program will remind you of that primary class mathematics. So we have accepted the number in num variable. Now we are checking that number whether it is greater than or equal to 0 or it is less than or equal to 9. That means if the number is between 0 and 9, including 0 and 9, then we will print it is one digit number. And if this condition is false, that means the number is not within 0 and 9, then we will move to the next condition and check it for greater than 9 and less than or equal to 99, means between 10 and 99, including 10 and 99, both of the numbers. If it is between this number, it will print it as a two-digit number. And if it is, this condition is also false, then it will move to the next elif, which checks it for above 99 and less than or equal to 999, means 100 and 999. 100 is the first three-digit number and 999 is the largest three-digit number. And likewise we will move on unless the condition becomes true. So here this also is false, then we will move to the next. If this is also false, then we will to the next. And if all of the conditions above are false, then we will say please enter a number between 0 and 99999, means for 99,999. It may be possible that the user has entered the number which is greater than 99,099, or it may be possible that it has entered a negative number, or it may be that he has entered something else and not a number. So here I have to check all the conditions. I have put all the numbers accordingly. So on first execution I entered 56, which it showed 2-digit number. Then I entered 347, then it has given the message 3-digit number. Then 5 was entered, which was given 1-digit number message. Then we entered 67902, which is a 5-digit number. Then 8902 for 4-digit number. Now there is a practice time question. This question involves multiple elif statements. So here it says, write a program to calculate the discount received by the customer. How much discount a customer will receive on a particular sale. If sale is greater than 10,000, then the discount will be 10%. If the sale is 20,000 greater than 20,000, the discount rate will be 20%. If the sale is greater than 30,000, then the discount will be 30%. So let's see a Python program to calculate the discount received by the customer. You can say it in either ways, that the discount received by the customer or a discount given by the shopkeeper on the product. So if the sale was greater than 1000, I have written all the conditions in the program as a part of it in remarks. So input sale amount. So first of all, I have accepted the value in amount AMT from the user. Now checking the condition. If AMT is greater than or 0, if this condition is true, which will obviously will true, if the amount is greater than or equal to 30,000, I'm going right from the beginning. I have taken from 30, then 20, then 10. Discount will be amount into 0.30. You know, 30 and a dot before it means it is 30 upon 100. That means 30%. So so the discount the customer will get will be 30%, amount into 30%. Then if this condition is not true, that is false, then we will check for the amount whether it is above 20,000. If this condition is true, then the discount is amount into 0.20, that is 20%. If this is also false, then we will go to amount greater than 10,000. Then the discount, it will be amount into 10%. And all three conditions are false, then we will go to the else part, which says discount will be given as 3%. If it says that if the sale is less than 10,000, then the customer will get only 3% discount of the amount of the product. Now later I have printed the discount in DISC. Then the net pay is amount, how much the customer has paid. This was only the discount that we have calculated. That means the customer will pay total amount minus this discounted amount. So the net pay by the customer will be the amount AMT minus discount. Else we will print invalid amount. It may be the amount entered by the user may be in minus, maybe 0, or entered something else. Now let's check for the output. Enter the sales amount as this statement was executed. So the amount entered was 23,400. That means it is between 20 and 30. So what was the discount between 20 and 30? It was 20%. So the 20% discount, 4,680 rupees. and the net paid amount paid by the customer was 23,400 minus 4,680, which becomes 18,720. Now we come to the iterations, that is the repetitions in Python, which was through for loop and while loop. So let's understand this iteration. What is this iteration? The iteration or looping control structures execute a proof set of statements repeatedly until a certain condition is fulfilled. Each time a set of statement or block within a loop is executed, it is known as an iteration. The specified condition is generally referred as a loop control. For all the loop statements for and while, the loop control statements return a Boolean value, that is either true or false. The main purpose of a loop is to repeat a statement or a group of statements or block for a specific number of time or so far as a condition is fulfilled, that is the condition is true. The statements within a loop are called the body of the loop and are normally executed in a sequential manner. Every loop is controlled by a variable called the loop control variable. So the four important parts of a loop are initialization statement. It initializes the loop control variable. You may initialize to 0, to 1 or to any other number. Now test condition tells you terminates when this condition returns a false value. The test condition will terminate when it becomes false. Then the step value, which will increase the loop control variable or decrease it as it is required. The value of the counter variable increases or decreases by the given step at each iteration depending upon the condition you want. If you are beginning your initial number with a very large amount, you can also use decrement in the step value. Body of the loop will be the code that gets executed when the condition is true. Now let us understand the concept of looping using programming. Here I have used a for loop with I as a counter variable and a range between 0 and 100 with a step value of 1. Here I want to print all the numbers from 0 to 100 minus 1, that is 99, with a difference of 1, that is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, this way. Suppose you want to print the numbers from 0 to 100 minus 1 in Python. Here the initial value is 0, which is this one, and the final value is 100 minus 1, but we put 100 here. If we want to print the numbers till 99, we will put 1 because it goes in for loop or a range. The last value goes till the last value minus 1. So if we want to print from 1 to 10, then I have to give, instead of 10, 11 number. Now instead of writing each number using the print statement, you use a loop counter variable I. In the first iteration means repetition, initial value of I is 0, is checked against the final value, which is 100. And if it is less than 100, the 0 is printed. In the first iteration, 0 is printed. In the second iteration, value of that I becomes I plus 1, that is 0 plus 1. And again it is checked against the final value for further execution. Similarly, it will keep on checking till we get the value as 100. In every iteration, the value of the counter variable increases by 1 until it becomes equal to the final value, that is 100. And as soon as it reaches 100, the condition becomes false and the execution will stop. Now we will learn this for and while loop in a bit detail. So Python has two types of loops. One is for loop and the while loop. What is a for loop? The for loop is used when the user needs to execute a block of code for a fixed number of time. And while loop is used when the number of execution is not known to the user. It allows the block of code to be executed till the condition is true. Now let us understand each of them one by one. The for loop is used to execute a set of statements repeatedly till the test condition is true. The loop is preferred till the number of iteration is fixed. The loop is also known as a fixed loop. The for loop in Python continues until we reach the last item of the sequence. Will be the syntax for this? For variable in sequence. And here it is the sequence given. But then after the colon, it comes the body of the loop, means the statement or the statements that are to be repeated. Or we can also write for variable in range. We can use the keyword range. Then we can give the initial value, final value, and then the step value. If we do not give the step value, it takes 1 as the default value for steps. For is a loop control, then initial value a equal to 5. These are examples. Final value, say suppose a is equal to 50 and the step value 5. Then comes the body of the loop. It shows you that if you want to print from 5 to 50 minus 1, that is 49, we can use this example. After the colon, the body of the loop will come. Now look at the flowchart also. Start, then for item in sequence, means the for loop. Then the last, right, it will check the condition. Last light have it reached the last item. If yes, then it will stop, and if no, then body of the loop will be executed, and if it to go to the next again to the for loop to check the condition. What is that condition? Has it reached the last item? Now let's come to membership operators. In Python, in and not in are known as the membership operators. They control the working of the loop. The in operator is used to find the value in a given range. In will ask for whether this particular value is present in a group or not. In means whether it is there or not. Not in means whether this value is not in the group. The in operator is used to find the value in a given range. It returns true if the value is found in the sequence, otherwise it will return false. What will be the syntax? Value in sequence. The in operator returns a boolean value, that is true or false. And the not in operator is just opposite to the in. The not in operator is simply opposite of the in operator, and its syntax will be value not in sequence. See this, there is one program to check the functionality of in and not in. Print 5 in, and I have given a sequence. So it is asking whether 5 is present in this group or not. If it is yes, then it will give you true, and if it is not, then it will give you false. Using in membership operator with for loop. So how can we use it? For loop and in operator can be used as follows. To print 1 to 10. For I, in I have given the sequence 1 to 10, then the colon, print I. Here this is a for loop, but in this particular group it will not go till 9. It will check for all the numbers. Here I have given these numbers in sequence, but they could be in haphazard manner also. So for I, it is checking for a number I, whether it is present in the group or not, or it is just putting the first value in I in the first iteration, then the next value, then the next value, and then thereafter till it reaches the last item. So for I in 1 till to 10, print I means now for this it is going to print all the numbers in this sequence one by one. For say suppose if the value is 1, it has printed 1, then again it goes to the for till it reaches 10. It will go one by, these values will go into I one by one, and it will print I. So 1 2 3 4 5 till 10 are printed here. Range function. The range is a built-in function in Python that generates a series of numbers within a given range. Depending on how many arguments you pass, arguments mean the value you pass to the function, you provide to the function, you decide where that series of numbers will begin and end, as well as how much the difference will be there between one number and the next. Syntax is range, then the start value, the stop value, and the step value. Start marks the starting value of the range, stop marks the end or the last value of the range, and step shows the interval between each element of a sequence. Now we will learn the three ways in which we can use the range function. The range function can be written in the following ways. Range n, this generates a set of whole numbers starting from 0 to n minus 1. If this n will be 8, then it will give you the sequence from 0 to 7, that is n minus 1. 8 minus 1 is 7. For example, range 8 is equivalent to 0 to 7. Then range start stop, it generates a set of whole numbers starting from start to stop. Stop means stop minus 1. For example, range 5 and 9 is equivalent to starting value 5, 6, 7 and 8, which is 9 minus 1. Then range start, stop and step will give you, again here the number of stop will be minus 1. When the user does not specify the value of step, it is assumed to be 1 by default. The numbers are generated with a difference of 1 among them. However, by specifying the step value, we can generate values with difference of the specified step value. So let's see this example. Range 1, 10 and 2. This is equivalent to 1, which is the first value, then difference of 2, that means 3, then 5, 7, 9. This way, if we want to print even numbers or odd numbers, then we can start, for even numbers we can start with 0, and for odd numbers we can start with 1. And if I want to write the multiplication table, then I can put the difference, the step value as the number beginning from 0. See, let's demonstrate the use of range function with this program. Range function with only one argument, which was the first one. For I in range 5, what is this 5 going to do? It will print from 0 to 4. Then range function with two arguments, that is two values, the start value and the last value. It will start from 0 and end up till minus 5 minus 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4 will be printed. So for I in range 2 and 5, print I will give you 2, 3, 4 as the output. Then range function with three arguments, that is the start value, stop value and the 2, difference of 2. It is going to give us difference of 2, that is 0, then 2, then 4, 6 and 8. Now a program to print the multiplication of a number using for loop. Again using the range one. So I am accepting the number, the multiplication table of which I want in A, and I am converting that that number into integer. For I in range 1 to 11, because I want till 10, so I am putting one number ahead. C equals to A into I, the number multiplied by the I number. So each time it is going to print A, that is the number, multiplication sign, then the ith number, the value, and then the equal to sign, and the C, that is product of A and I. So here I have accepted the value as 7. So it is printing in the first iteration, it is printing 7 into 1 equals to 7. Then the value of I became 2 and it is printing 7 into 2 equals to 14, 21, 28 and so on till it reaches 7 into 10. That is the value of I became 10 and equal to 70. And when it became, the value became 11, it stopped. Likewise, again using range function, here I am calculating the value of factorial of a particular number. Program to find and display the factorial of a number using for loop and range. So I have given factorial a variable as fact and I have initialized factorial by 1. Now I am accepting a number from the user of which I need the factorial. For I in range 1, I am beginning, this is my starting value 1 and num plus 1. This will be till num plus 1. Now, because I need to multiply the number till number, not so I am putting here num plus 1. Fact equals to fact into I. Then in the first iteration, the value of I is 1 and the factorial value is also 1. So it will be fact value will be fact into I, that is 1. It will remain 1. Then in the next iteration, the value of I became 2. Now factorial, it became factorial into 2, that is 1 into 2. So the first factorial when I became 2 was 2. Now in the next iteration when I became 3, then what was my last value of factorial? It was 2. It became 2 into 3. Then again it reached here, then it became 4. Then it was again multiplied and till it reaches num, because in range it is going to work till the number. I have specified number plus 1 instead of because I do not know the number. So I have taken the variable 1 ahead to that. Now after it has calculated, now I came out of the loop and I printed the factorial of a number. Num is the factorial value. So I entered the number as 5 and the factorial of the number 5 will be 120. 5 factorial means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, or you can take it vice versa. Factorial of 5 is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So I have to calculate till 5. So I took here as 5 plus 1. So here is a program to illustrate the use of for loop with else. So I have written as a remark, program to illustrate the use of for loop with else. So now I have taken one list with values 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Now for I in list, which is true, print I. Now it is going to print all the numbers from 0 to 10, and then it will move to the else part. Print all items have been displayed. Now come to while loop. The for loop is used when the user needs to execute a block of code for a fixed number of time. And the while loop is used when the number of execution is not known to the user. It allows the block of code to be executed till the condition is true. So you can just look at the flowchart also. This is we are entering the while loop here. Then the expression, that is the condition, tested here. If it is true, then the statements after the condition, after the colon, will be executed, and if it becomes false, it will exit the while loop. So the while loop has following components. Initialization. First, the process of assigning a value to a variable. We need to assign. In for loop, we were putting for I in range or put for I in and the value. So there was no need of initialization of any number. The first value in the for loop was the initial value. Here we have to explicitly specify. We have to initialize a variable with some value. Now then comes the condition. The condition is the statement whose validity is to be tested in every execution till it becomes false. Now after the colon is the block of statement, which is also known as body of the loop. This is the body of the loop. Now after that we need an update statement, which is also known as the increment value, which refers to the updation of the control. You may update it by increasing its value, or you may update it by decreasing its value. So let's look at the syntax quickly. I equals to the initial value, then while test condition, then a colon, then the body of the loop, and inside the body of the loop itself, as a last statement, we will put update statement for its increment or decrement. Now just look at the example. It's a program to print the multiplication table of the number using the while loop. So here I have written in remark, this question as a remark, program to print the table of a number using the while loop. A is equal to integer input, enter the number. I am accepting the number of which I need the table to be printed in A. Then I have initialized, this is the initialization, I equal to 1. The counter variable has been initialized by 1. Then while, and then the condition, here it is while, and then the condition I is less than or equal to 10. Here I have taken less than or equal to 10. See, in for loop we were taking the number, the last value plus 1, but in while loop we need not to take the number as one number ahead. Here we can have the step value, the last value as it is. There is no need to add 1 to it. So I'm checking I less than or equal to 10. B equals to A into I. This is the product of the number which was A and the counter variable which is value, in the first it will be 1, then and later it will become 2, 3, 4, 5, and it will go till 10. So the first value is of I is 1, so it is the number into 1. Now we will print A, the multiplication sign, then the I, the counter value, then the equal to sign, and then the product between A and I, which is given in variable B, and I is equal to I plus 1. This is the incrementation, updation done. I value will be incremented by 1 here. So we have entered the value. On executing this program, we have entered the value 7, and then it is printing 7 into 1 equals to 7. Then in the next iteration, when I became 2, after I plus 1, it prints 14, 21, and so on till it reaches 70. Now, a program to print the sum of first n natural numbers using while loop. So you can correlate this program with calculating the factorial. In factorial also we do. Say suppose I need the factorial of 5. What does it mean? It means I need the multiplication of 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. This is same, but using while loop. So program to find the sum of first n natural numbers using while loop. Now n is equal to integer n. We are accepting the value from the user in n. Sum equals to 0. Here we are calculating the sum. In this program we are calculating sum of first n natural numbers using while loop, and in the factorial we were multiplying, or we can say we were finding the product of first n natural numbers. So program to find the sum of first n natural numbers. Here I will accept the value in n, then I will initialize sum to 0. First value of I is initial value of I counter is 1. Then while I less than or equal to n, it is checked against the value of n. Then I am incrementing sum is equal to sum plus I. Value of sum was 0, so I, that is the 1 value, is added to it. The first value of sum became 1. Then I am incrementing I by 1. Now the value of I became 2. So now sum will become sum plus I, that is 1 plus 2. It became 3. Now it becomes value 3. Now again 3 is added by 3, that it became 6, then it becomes 10, and so on. And later when this condition became false, it comes out of the loop and prints the sum of first n natural number is the last value of sum. So I have entered the value as 5, and 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. A program to illustrate the use of an else statement with the while loop. So here I have written the same question in the remark as comment, program to illustrate the use of else statement with the while loop. Now a is initialized as 0 while a is less than or equal to 5, less than 5, print a, and a is equal to a plus 1. That means a is equal to 0 and a is less than 5. This is true. Now it is printing a, so the first value printed will be 0. Now a is equal to a plus 1. That means now a became 0 plus 1, that is 1. Now again it is checked, is 1 less than 5? Yes, it is true. Then I will print the value of a, which will be 1. Now again the value of a is incremented by 1. Now it became 2. Now again it is checked, is 2 less than 5? Yes. Then I have printed a, that means 2 is printed, and then 3 and then 4. Now as it becomes 5, this condition becomes false. It will not execute print in this statement. Now it will come to the else part. What does the else part says? Print loop terminated. So the loop terminated statement is printed now. Now how is infinite loop? What is infinite loop and how is it created? Infinite loop is a kind of loop that runs endlessly because the test condition never becomes false. The infinite loop is created when the user enters a condition that can never be met and thus results in a loop that never ends. So here I have written a program to demonstrate a infinite loop. Again the question part is written as a remark. A is initialized by 5 and I is initialized as 1, and here I am checking. See, a is 5 and I is 1. So I is always less than a. That is 1 is always less than 5. Then a is equal to a plus 2 and I am printing the value of a. So it will go endlessly like this, and after that we need to kill the program because it is not going to, the execution is not going to stop. Hence it has become a infinite loop. Now there is a practice time question given in the textbook. Write the output for the following programs. So write the output of the program. str is a variable in which the word apple is going. For letters in str, letter is an counter variable in str which has apple value. Now print the letters. So here is the program written and here is the output. So first of all, in letters the str's first value will go, which is a. So it will print a. Next time str will be second value, which is p, and again pre will be printed. So a p p l e will be printed like this vertically, printing one alphabet at a time. In the second program, a equals to 2 and print a plus a. Print next. So what is it going to print? A, the value of a is 2 and it is going to print a plus a, that is 2 plus 2. So it will print 4 and then it will print the word next. Now in the third part, C, it will a e i o u will go into the variable vowels. For iter, a counter variable in vowels, print character, and iter, the value of a e i o u will go one by one in iter variable. So here it is going to print character in short char, colon and iter, the first value a. In the next iteration e, then in the next I, o, u. In this way, this program and this program are a and c are same. Only the differences of apple and a, e, I, o, u. Then in the D part, it says a is equal to 1. A is initialized by 1 and it is saying while a is less than or equal to 5, print a into a. So the first value was 1. So it is printing a into a means it will print 1 ones are 1. Square of 1. Then a is equal to a plus 1. A, the value of a is has been updated by 1. Now the value of a became 2. So it will print 2 into 2, that is 4. Then it became 3. 3 into 3 is 9. Then 4 into 4. Then 5 into 5 till 25. Then it reaches 5. And later when it is incremented to 6, this condition becomes false. So it comes out of the loop and the program terminates. Now let's come to the control statements in the Python. Control statements are to control the loops. A control statement is used to check the sequence of execution of the program based on the condition. There are three types of control statements. First, just look at the picture. Python loop control statements: break, continue, and pass. Let us understand each of them one by one. Loop control statements. Break statement, that this terminates the loop statement and transfer execution to the statement immediately following the loop. Means it will come out of the loop. The complete loop will end. The continue statement causes the loop to skip the remainder of its body. Means that particular iteration will be skipped. But yes, it will again go and check the condition and it will move to the next iteration. It causes the loop to skip the remainder of its body and immediately retest its condition prior to the reiterating. Now, the pass statement, what is it going to do? The pass statement in Python is used when a statement is required syntactically, but you do not want any command or code to be executed. So you can also fill the empty loop using the pass statement. Now let us learn one by one. First is the continue statement. Continue statement causes the loop to skip the remainder of its body and immediately retest its condition prior to reiterating. Just we learned it in our previous slide. The program skips the remaining statements when it reaches the continue statement. When the continue statement is encountered, the condition skip of the execution of the remaining statement inside the body of loop. It jumps to the beginning of the loop for next iteration. See here, this program shows the continue statement. For char in Python, if char is equals to y, we have put continue. Then print the current character. Means when each character is passed to char variable one by one, when y is put into char, it will continue. Means it is not going to print. So let's see the output. Current character is p. In the first iteration, it will print the p. Then if it reaches y, it is saying to continue. And it again moves to the for loop. It comes out of this if loop and it moves to the for. Now again the next value t will move to char and it will print the current character. So y is not printed and p, th, o1 are printed. In the above example, when the condition comes true, the interpreter skips the statement. Here you can just correlate, you can just keep in your mind continue means skip. but executes all the program till the end. Now next is your break. It takes the control out of the loop. It terminates the loop statement and transfer execution to the statement immediately following the loop. Means it will come off this loop and it will start executing all other statements after the loop. So the program to show break statement is in str I have taken Python. For I in str means in I each character will go one by one in I. If I is equal to O, then it will break and then it will come out of the loop and print I. This if loop, only the if part, and then it will print I. Now in the first value of I is P, so it has printed P, then it has printed Y, then T, then H. If it reaches O, when it reaches O, it breaks the loop. So the loop completely breaks and now it has come out of the loop and nothing will be executed. And if there is something written after print statement in the program, they will be executed. But now it will come out of the break loop. So it has printed only Python. In the above program, as soon as loop reaches the break statement, it stops the execution. So you can understand the break statement as stopping the execution of the loop. Now, pass statements, as the name suggests, pass. What do we do when we are playing some game and we pass something? If a question is given to us and we are passing it on, what happens? This is what it is going to happen. It will move to somebody else. So here also it works like that. This statement is used to write empty loops. The pass statement is similar to comment, but it is not ignored by the interpreter. The pass statement in Python is used when a statement is required syntactically, but you do not want any command or code to execute. So here we have taken uh, the word Python in char, and if char reaches h, if the value of char becomes h, then it passes and it prints the current character. Means if the character char becomes h, it just passes, means it comes out of the if loop. But still, since the value of h went into char, it is still part of the for loop and it will print the current character in char, so it will print h also. Here you can see the output for this Python. So it is somewhat similar to your continue, but here it has printed. Even if this will work if we do not write if char equals to h and pass, this is still going to work and you will get the same output. Write a program to print. There are practice time question again. Write a program to print squares of the 5 numbers entered by the user. It is not asking you to print the 5 numbers entered by first 5 numbers. It is asking those 5 numbers from the user, and we have to do this using for loop and while loop both. So the first program is done with while loop. So here the question is written in the remark I equal to 1 initialization. I initialized I as 1. Then while I is less than or equal to 5, a equals to why I have given less than or equal to 5, because I need 5 numbers, so this loop will run 5 times, and accept the number in A, then print A into A because we need to print a square. Then update the number by 1. Here this is the update statement, this is the initialization, and this is the condition. So first time when it entered 3, it gave 3 into 3 as 9. Then 7 in second time 7 was entered, which gave 7 into 7 49. Third time 9 was entered, 81. Then 12, 12 12s are 144. 18 18 multiplied by 18 gave you 324. Same program written with for loop, does not require initialization, and it also does not require updation statement. Here for I in range 1 to 6, so the beginning, the first value will be 1 and the last value will be 6 minus 1, that is 5. A, we have entered the value in A and then we are printing A into A. Again, both the program will have the same output like this. Now there is second question of the practice time. It is write a program to display the sum of first 10 odd numbers using a for loop and while loop. So in the same way, first it is written using for loop. So here we have here there are two counters. One is to keep to calculate the sum, and one counter is for the counter control. So here sum equals to 0, in which I will be adding all the numbers. I in range 1, the first value will be for 1, and I have given the step value as 2 because it was odd numbers. So I need first 10 numbers, so I have taken double the 10 for odd numbers. So my last value is actually 22 minus 1, which is 21. Sum is equal to sum plus I. In the sum, the value of I will be added, and once it has reached its last value, that is 22, it will come out of the loop and it will print the final value of sum, which was 121. In this also, in while loop, we have to initialize I as 1, sum also to be initialized as 0. Now while I is less than or equal to 21, here we have to write the last value. In for loop, we have to write one value ahead. Now while I is less than or equal to 21, sum is equal to sum plus I. The same statement will be repeated here. Now the step value, instead of writing step value like this, we have to write the updation statement as I is equal to I plus 2. Then once it has reached 21, this while loop will be stopped and it will come out of the loop and print the last value of the sum, which will be 121. The third question of this practice time was write a program to display the product of even numbers up to a given value. It means whether you want to print the value of even number, value will be that how many value will accept a number, and till that number it will give me the product of only the even numbers, not all. It will be not question as print the product of first n number of numbers till n. It will just take up that number, and till that number it will only multiply the even numbers till that number. Now in this I have written the question as it is in the remark part. Write a program to display the product of even numbers up to a given value. Just look at the program carefully to understand if you haven't understood the meaning of the program. Now I have initialized product as 1. Num In the num variable, we have accepted the value from the user till that number. Only the even numbers lying between 0 and that number will be multiplied. Now for I in range from 1 to that particular number, we will check if I divided by 2 gives you 0. This is to check the number for primeness. If this condition is true, then the product is equal to product into I. The product was initialized as 1. If this is true, that means it is a even number. Then the previous product value will be multiplied by the next even number, and the product will be printed. Here I am printing all products in a sequence to make the program more clear. Rest in the question, it is only asked to give the product value, that is the last value. But just to understand it in a more better way, I have printed all the values simultaneously. Then after reaching the end, end means till the number, for loop terminates and finally it prints the last value of the product. So here enter a value as an output. Value was entered as 9. Now it is started from 1. So 1 divided by 2 doesn't gives you 0, so this will not be executed. And then it again reaches I. Now the value became 2. Now it is going to divide it by 2, which gives you 0. Yes. Then the product will be multiplied by I. Means product was what? 1. 1 was multiplied by 2. So the first value printed was 2. Now it again reaches for loop, which now became 3. 3 divided by 2 doesn't give 0, so this will be again skipped. Then it will again go to I. Now the value became 4. Now 4 divided by 2 will give you 0. So the product is multiplied by I. That means now it is 2 multiplied by 4 will give you 8. And likewise it is checked till 9, till the I value became 9, and the last product is 384. Here also it is printing 384, and when it reaches the end of the loop, after stopping the loop, again the last value of the product will be printed here. Now the fourth question of the practice time was, write a program to print the following series, means -2, -3, -4 till -10, and we have to use range function for this. So I have written the same question here. Write a program to print the following series. Now product is given as 1. For I in the range 2 till 11, because we need till -10. Now I have changed I to I minus I, and I am printing I. So all the numbers are printed -2, -3 till -10, and it stops. So by this the chapter comes to an end. Let us now quickly see the main key points that we have learned in this chapter. A conditional statement checks the condition and the statement accordingly. The iterative statement keeps on repeating themselves until the condition is satisfied, that is, the result of the condition is true. A loop works on the basis of the initial value. the test statement and the counter variable. The looping statements in Python are for loop and while loop. The in operator returns true if the value is found in the list, else it returns false. The for loop is used when the number of iteration is known to the user beforehand, and the while loop is used when the number of iteration is not known to the user. I hope you would have understood the chapter very well. If you really understood and liked this video, I would request you to please like it and subscribe the channel. And for more solutions of next chapters, keep watching my upcoming videos. Thank you.